Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hassan Mohammed, a second-year student in the Master of Science in Management program. So today, I would like to share with you my story on how I ended up in this shining university, and in particular, in the Master of Science in Management program. Well, before I started my MSc program, when I was undertaking my Bachelor of Arts degree, I never had any firm plans to go to graduate school. So my goal was to work in the corporate sector. Immediately, 3 months to my graduation, I was employed as a project manager, in which I was in charge of 15 staff, as well as over 500 temporary workers. There I acquired numerous skills, leadership and management skills, but I didn't know the theory behind my actions. In other words, I knew the how, but not the why. So then I asked myself, why don't I pursue a Bachelor of Management degree to get answers to those very many why questions, the theory behind management knowledge. So I applied for the Bachelor of Management degree in the University of Lethbridge, and luckily I was accepted and admitted. It's in this program that I got answers to the very many questions that I had. Why am I doing this? You can be doing certain actions, but you don't know maybe the theory behind. So I took a number of courses, including accounting, where I developed skills necessary for preparing and interpreting financial statements. Finance, where I developed skills for maximizing firm value. Marketing, where I learned skills for analytical skills such as SWOT analysis and maybe the fundamental concepts of marketing. International management, where I was introduced to strategies which firms can adopt in maximizing firm value in overseas countries, in foreign countries, as well as policy and strategy, where I developed strategic decision-making skills, including strategy analysis, strategy formulation, and strategy implementation. However, I must say, out of these many courses, I developed an affinity for policy and strategy-oriented courses. So there, I started searching for master's programs to apply to. And I must say, one of the first programs that came into my mind was an MBA. I said, I should start with an MBA. Then I said, what is my end goal? What do I want to achieve after an MBA? The answer to these questions was in two parts. The first part is, in the short term, I want to work in the corporate sector. But in the long term, I want to become an academician. So based on my future career plans and on the advice of my professors and friends, I realized an MSc in Management program is more suitable for me to achieve my long-term goal. So again, I applied in the MSc in Management program at the University of Lethbridge, and luckily I was accepted and admitted. So the next question is, why did I choose the University of Lethbridge, and in particular the MSc in Management programs? There are a number of reasons, but I will just give you 5 of them. The first one, the University of Lethbridge, and in particular the MSc in Management program, is known for research competencies. University of Lethbridge is a research destination. It's a research university, so anybody who wants to become a researcher or have a career in the academia, it's the right place to be. 2, the University of Lethbridge has knowledgeable and experienced faculty. So for me to become an academician, I want to stand on the shoulders of giants, giant scholars. 3rd, the University of Lethbridge has small classes, on average of 15 to 25 students, which provides a conducive environment for learning. It provides one-to-one interaction with a professor, one-to-one interaction with fellow students, so you can learn a lot. 4th, the University of Lethbridge provides generous funding in terms of scholarship and fellowship. And finally, The University of Lethbridge, and in particular the MSc in Management program, has quick and reasonable completion time of 12 to 24 months, because time is of essence. So those were some of the criteria I considered before I applied into the MSc in Management program. So the next question is, what's my experience of the MSc in Management program? There's a lot to talk about here, but I can say I have gained a lot in terms of conducting research, both quantitative and qualitative research from start to finish, a lot in terms of acquiring knowledge of statistical techniques, a lot in terms of enhancing my academic writing skills, a lot in terms of improving my presentation skills. I don't know if I'm doing good. A lot in terms of exchanging insights with fellow students from different majors, background, and even countries. I had the opportunity also to serve as a research assistant as well as a teaching assistant. So you can see how much I have acquired. So I'm on my way on the journey to acquire my end goal, which is to become an academician and get a PhD. So finally, the next question is, what do I want to be? Sorry, I'm not moving the slides. I should have been doing that. But what do you call, sorry. What's my future plan? Basically, after acquiring all these skills, I want to pursue a PhD and become an academician. And before that, I can work as a researcher or a consultant for some time, and finally become an academician. That's my goal. So in short, the Master of Science in Management program offers plenty of opportunities, and I think it's worth pursuing it. Any questions?
Yeah, so you're in your second year, you're graduating, and how did you find the course? Because the first year is the classes, right? And the second year is more based on the thesis?
Yes.
How did you find the first year, like the course load? Was it comparable to the undergrad degree, or?
I can say it's, yeah, it's comparable to the undergraduate degree in a sense, but it's a little bit, there's more work, but it's not very different much from the undergraduate degree, but you need to put more effort and more assignments, more papers to write, and maybe shorter timelines.
Okay.
Otherwise, anybody who has an undergraduate degree should be able to do it. I think it's very doable.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes?
How many students are in the program with you, and how many of them are, say, accounting or finance focused?
Basically, we are around 12 students in my class. And out of those, we have 1 in accounting, 3 in human resource, 1 in policy and strategy, 2 in finance, 1 in international management, and 2 in marketing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? Any comment?
What's the structure of the research? So your second year, how does that work?
Oh, yeah. So the research, there's 2 parts to it. One is to develop the research proposal. So that's the first stage. You work towards the proposal, you defend the proposal. Once you have done that, then you move to the second stage, which is data collection. You collect your data. And finally you defend your thesis examination. So I think once you defend your proposal, you are more than halfway, I think so. Yes. Yes.
So you mentioned you were going to take this for getting into a PhD program.
Yes.
So out of the 12 people you're in the program with, are the majority on that same route as a PhD?
I think this one depends. It might vary from individual to individual, but most of them are planning to go into academia, PhD. a good number of them, yeah.
Is there certain PhD programs you guys are looking at or feel this feeds better into?
For me, I'm thinking I should continue on the same line in management, kind of maybe do something in organizational behavior and strategic management, something of that sort, because, yeah, but people might change, you know, PhD, you can do a PhD in education, yeah. Yeah. So let me invite my colleague, yeah, Jackson. Oh yeah, sure.
We good? Good? Okay. So I'll just continue from where my colleague had stopped. Thank you very much for attending. My name is Jackson. I'm currently a master's candidate here at the Faculty of Management. My major is in human resource and labor relations. Before I go ahead, I'd like to give you a brief academic background so you can understand why I'm going to say some of the things that I'll be saying. My first degree was in geology. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in geology. I hold a master's degree in applied geophysics. And then I thought to myself that I needed to reinvent myself. I just had to do something that would position me for the future so I become relevant. And so I chose to do something on business administration where I majored in international business. I'm also an SAP Enterprise Resource Planning certified consultant. My current research area is more on the aspect of functional perspective of human resource management practices, especially in high-performance work systems. What I'm trying to look at is how human resource management practices could, in the long run, affect organizational performance in terms of how employees respond to perceived behaviors by their employers. Oftentimes I've been posed with this question, why the University of Lethbridge? And I kind of smile when I hear that because my first answer would always be, why not? Okay. Again, just to allude to what my colleague had mentioned previously, I can't overemphasize the significance of the role that these faculty members play in my studies here. Not only are these guys grounded in what it is that they are saying, but their ease of accessibility is something that astonishes me. I get astounded once in a while because you can, as simple as just meet a professor or a faculty member at the elevator or on the staircase and just throw them a question, and they are willing to put a stop to every other thing that they are doing to attend to you. Such connotations for me as an individual speaks volumes, because then in addition to the nice ratio of the student to staff ratio, which makes it also easy for faculty members to interface with students, I think such learning environment is something that for me as an individual that I have this, I'm a nerd for information. I'm very, very strong on that. It's something, my quest for knowledge is probably one of the reasons that drove me to pursue this master's degree here at the University of Lethbridge. Again, the robustness of the curriculum, like my colleague had said, is such that sometimes from outside, you can't appreciate this thing until you get in it, okay? And with all due respect to those who hold MBAs, I had the opportunity of course, I'd been offered admission into other schools, but there was something compelling about the way the curriculum of this particular program is designed. Outside the fact that it's research-based, it also helps this dynamic interplay where it allows for exchange of information. So again, if you are this kind of individual that welcomes sessional brainstorming, if you know you can embrace multicultural views, if you know that you are not parochial in your sense of reasoning, you are this kind of individual who, I know this term has been used, people talk of thinking outside the box. But here at the Faculty of Management at the University of Lethbridge, you actually live that talk. You don't only talk the talk, but you also walk the talk. So when it comes to interplay of information, brainstorming, with people who at first don't have to necessarily believe in what it is that you're saying, but it's all about understanding. You know, you're developing professional skills that helps you to accommodate other views that are different from yours, skills that will prove useful in the long run, especially in corporate settings. Again, the engaging environment for me is something that stimulates my curiosity. I'm usually not this quiet guy that just sits in a classroom, and I'll talk about that in subsequent slides. But I think it's important to mention that not only does the multicultural learning environment promote my desire to study and be willing to become the best at what it is that I do, it has also honed my skills in terms of being able to better manage myself, my time, and of course, people. Of course, what do you expect from a human resource management student if you're not able to do these things, right? The competitive advantage of the University of Lethbridge in itself is something that I think is worth mentioning at this point in time. You see, the closeness to industry practitioners is a key selling point for this curriculum in itself. I've had friends in other departments and courses where they need to graduate from a particular part of Canada and then relocate because they are trying to look for jobs elsewhere. That's not the story here in Faculty of Management because of the proximity to industry leaders. So in terms of your business networks, in terms of your opportunity, in terms of your, career prospects, it's a sealed deal, in my own opinion, that, why won't you grab such a deal for goodness sake? So my experience so far, at first, my arrival here, of course, research for me has always been something that I'm crazy and fascinated about. I wanted, like I said, I didn't want to do an MBA. I didn't just want a master's program that would just throw me out there half-baked. I wanted to become this graduate that upon completion of my studies, I'm worth my salt, I can stand my own, I can conduct research from end to end without having to experience certain difficulties that I know, and with all due respect to my MBA colleagues, will find extremely challenging. For me, the first few months, and I make bold to say within 2.5 months of my studies here, I knew this was the place I had to be. And I currently serve as a research assistant, and I can't tell you the immense exposure that I've gained from just that practice. I can tell you how to do what it is you need to do in terms of where and how to source for not just materials, but quality materials. What do you expect from a guy that is currently being trained by the best in the world? You, like my colleague alluded to, standing on the shoulders of giants. It's something I would recommend to any individual that is willing to go out of the norm. If you are this kind of individual who is willing to challenge the dominant narrative, this is an institution that you should embrace. There is this thing that the School of Graduate Studies has put in place, and I think is worthy of commendation. It's called the Professional Development Programs. I think someone alluded to it. The previous speaker before my colleague here talked about the Thrive program. I think such atmospheres not only serve as a melting pot for ideas and innovative exchange of information, it also helps you to build transferable skills. People often say, why are you coming from geology and you think it's going to be necessary in management? And I say, well, for me, I view education as just a means of allowing my mind to be malleable. By that, I mean, I'm this kind of individual, by virtue of my educational and professional exposure, I'm able to entertain and accommodate ideas. This curriculum in the Faculty of Management has also helped to facilitate a better achievement of that goal for me, because not only can I engage myself in meaningful conversations with anybody, anywhere in the world, as a result of the skills and the expertise and the exposure that this curriculum has afforded me so far. I like to talk more about this part in terms of career prospects. So what's in it for you at the end of the day? And I dare say, you don't have to wait until you graduate before you start thinking of this, because it's already happening. You can get jobs even while you're already in school. Of course, that depends on your academic performance, which is a no-brainer, right? But then, in terms of global recognition, this degree can take you anywhere because it's recognized in the world. I had mentioned earlier the issue of proximity to industry leaders and, of course, business networking platforms. I cannot overemphasize the number of persons that this curriculum has allowed me to just get to shake hands with. I have business cards that can tell the stories from people that I never in my mind thought that I'll be in the same room with. But because of being an active student within this curriculum, I've been given that privilege to share the same space with these amazing scholars. There are on and off campus job positions. Previous speakers had talked about research assistantships. You also have co-ops. You also have professional training opportunities. You have career fairs that is usually organized by the School of Graduate Studies and, of course, the career aspect of the university. All these are deals that I think that any prospective student should pay attention to. So what's the point if I tell you all this, I run you through this razzmatazz of why you should come to the University of Lethbridge, and I don't tell you how to do it? You see, for me, for those of us that are well vested in marketing, there is something called the 7 Ps of marketing. So I said to myself, I think I should coin something out of that. And I came up with this idea of, you can call them Jackson's 4 Ps of success if you choose. And it's not yet patented, but we're working on that. So you need to write me to use this. Anyways, the first thing is to be proactive. Why do you have to be proactive? Planning is essential. If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So right from the start, make sure you have a vivid picture of what it is that you want. Like I said, before I arrived here, I knew I wanted something research-based. So when I was thrown into that murky waters, I knew that, yes, I have to survive this. And someone asked the question how is the first year? The first year is a bit daunting, but it's very inspiring if you have a goal. That's where you can link it to my being proactive. So the first thing is be proactive, have a plan, stick to that plan, and always rehearse that plan in your mind every day. Because whether you like it or not, I'll be honest with you, there are times where you feel discouraged. But if you don't know the reason why you're here, then you might likely opt out of the program. But having a vivid picture of what it is that you want in life and your reason for choosing the U of L in the first place will help you navigate through those tough times. Again, be present. When I say be present, I'll look at it from the time concept and, of course, in relation to the word itself, being present. What do I mean by be present? Be there. Engage. When you come to the classroom, when you plan to come to the classroom, make sure you're present in the class. Don't stay away from campus and think that you can get everything online because, folks, let's be real. There's something about being in that classroom with these seasoned professionals. Just being able to know that I can throw a question at a professor at proximity, close proximity, and I know that that individual will be able to go beyond and above the call of duty to ensure that they answer that question that I'm about to ask. That is one deal that I don't think anybody should miss. So be present in class. Be active. Ask questions. One of the themes for management is stimulating your intellectual curiosity. If you are not a curious-minded person, chances are that you will not grow. So ask questions. Ask your colleagues questions. Ask professors questions. And above all else, ask yourself questions. I ask myself questions, preparing me for the kind of questions that I can throw to others. Otherwise, you'll not be able to breach the gap that exists between knowledge. If you can't find that there is a paucity of knowledge in something, you will not know the kind of questions to ask. So it's always important that in addition to being proactive, be present, be up to date, read books. One of the beauties of social sciences is that it allows you to read other materials outside what it is that you're doing. I listen to the news. I know what's going on in Canada. I listened to the Prime Minister's speech at the United Nations. recently. I'm an active member in the deliberations going about the tax reforms in Canada right now. But I'm not yet Canadian. But it's because I know what it is that I want. I have to be present. So there's no kind of conversation you want to give to me about Canada and the rest of the world that I cannot offer one or two useful suggestions. Again, so when you plan to be present in class, when you plan being punctual, be punctual. One of the things I've noticed students do is that students all over the world often miss out on those crucial moments in the classroom, which in my opinion lies from 0 seconds to like 2 minutes. The first few minutes in every class becomes very crucial because in my opinion and from my experience, that's when those vital information that you need to carry you through that course are actually given. Not at the end when everybody is tired and yawning and in a hurry to leave, depending on your schedule, or probably you want to go for another course. So avail yourself the opportunity of being punctual and make sure that when you do that, you're willing to also participate by taking part in what's going on in the classroom. There is no way as a human resource management student that I will not speak about this, because that's what I represent. You see, one of the challenges that I have seen students face is not knowing where to get what it is they are looking for. And let's face it, information does not exist in the atmosphere. There is nothing like information exists in the cloud. That's a lie. People carry information. Somebody has what it is you're looking for. And failure to recognize that individual means that you will not have access to that information or resources, as the case may be, that that individual possesses. So I intentionally chose to put this last because I want to dwell more on it for prospective students. When you come into the University of Lethbridge, avail yourself the opportunity of learning from this amazing hub of information called people. Be people-oriented. Say hello to people. You are sitting in the bus, say hello. You meet someone in the elevator, say hello. I can't tell you the number of times that a simple hello has opened doors for me into offices that I could not have imagined that I'll enter. And for me, it's a lifestyle, recognizing people and understanding the role that people play. I know the world is shifting into being digitized, and I'm one of those that argue that regardless of how far we get into this digitization phenomenon, you cannot take away the role that people play. If the whole world should become automated, it will take somebody to still press that button to say start and to still press that button to say end. So it's important you pay immense attention and recognize the value that people play. So pay close attention to people, be people-oriented, engage in conversations, recognize cultures, appreciate people. Nobody is saying something stupid. Let's come to think of it. The bottom line is just we're all viewing this thing from different perspectives. And as a professional, learn once in a while to step out of your own boat to look at things from others' perspectives. It will give you a holistic picture. So rather than being parochial in your sense of reasoning, it will allow you to be panoramic and to be more vast in terms of your scope of horizon when it comes to interacting with people. So for further questions about our admission process, there's an amazing resource person here called Tammy. Just email her and I can guarantee that you'll get a feedback that you need. So if it's on the admission process or on any of the presentations that you've heard from the Faculty of Management, please avail yourselves the opportunity of getting more in-depth information from this lovely person using that email address. So thank you for your time, and I would be glad if we could use this time to entertain any kind of questions. Yes, please.
First of all, great presentation. That was good.
Thank you.
In one of your slides, you talked about global recognition. So I'm just wondering, is that associated with the AACSB accreditation? The faculty management is working towards that? Has that been approved?
So the question is more, I'm going to try to repeat the question for those streaming online. So the question is that when I mentioned something about the curriculum and the Faculty of Management being globally recognized, does that have to do with some form of accreditation? Even before that, prior to, I'm aware of the fact that the faculty is engaging in ongoing deliberations about accreditation. I was part of the students that were selected to meet with the chair that visited the school some few weeks back, and it was a remarkable opportunity. Again, bearing in mind the need to support what it is that I said, being the kind of student that I am and gaining that platform to be in the same room with people like that. Not only will such accreditation position this faculty to be at a level where it can become competitive, it is already. It will only accentuate the value of the faculty in itself. So yes, that adds to it, but I dare say, even prior to that accreditation, this faculty stands as one that can hold its own anywhere in the world. Yeah. And yes, please.
I'll ask another question.
Please.
From a student perspective, so when students come in, can you kind of give us a day in the life of first term for a student? Like, what does a typical week look like? Like, what does life look like? Do you guys have a life? Like, what is it?
So the question is, I should attempt to explain a typical week of a first-year student. What does life look like for a first-year student? Again, that depends on your personality, okay? I come from a background that allows me to manage my time effectively, that allows me to recognize my core values, which, by the way, part of the values of the Faculty of Management, one of the reasons why I chose this was because the core values of the management faculty resonates with my own personal values. So your personality has a huge role to play when it comes to how you balance things. It's interesting you're asking me this because my thesis also has to do with something on work-life balance. And you understand being a student and having to do something else besides, because you do have a life, and you do deserve the chance to own a life. So for me, I think your personality, your exposure, your ability to be to adapt is also important, because no one is here to witch hunt you. Let's be real. You see, what I call problematic can be an easy ride for someone else. So depending on the interplay of how you balance your life and make a living. But overall, I dare say, the faculty and the way the program is designed is in such a way that it offers every candidate a level playing field. So one person is not more preferred than the other. Again, it depends on how you utilize these tools, okay? People often tell me that motivation is something that teachers should do, and I say no, I disagree. Motivation in itself is an intrinsic quality. The teacher's aspect is to come into the classroom to give information. It behooves the student, on the other hand, to maximize that opportunity. So it's what you do with what you have. The library is there, but do you use it? The internet is there, what do you do with it? So the question is about what it is you want from this, what's in it for me, how to achieve it, my personal values, my core values, what are those things that help me navigate my pathway in life in terms of my objectives and my goals. So when you are able to juggle and balance through all these things, I can assure you that you'll be fine. So a typical week, wake up, always look at your timetable and please read your emails, because you just never know what kind of information will drop. I notice students don't pay attention to that. Again, back to what I had said about being up to date, be relevant, be consistent, pay attention to what's going on around you. By getting access to the vital information, I'm very sure that you can navigate your way through here. So come to class early, rest. Students often think it's about work, work, work. No, I'm not a fan of that. There is time for rest, because then it allows for my creativity to come in. And you cannot be creative when you're all juggled up or all murked up or all cloudy inside your mind. So take some time to rest. And I wish I had time to tell you about Lethbridge being one of the sunniest cities here. I mean, it's like the weather, the people, the food, the environment, the atmosphere, all these create this sense of ambience when it comes to making learning a productive venture for students here. And speaking as an international student, these things count, because when you're away from home, Lethbridge can be home away from home. And that's been my experience so far. I meet people on the bus, I meet people in school, I meet people in the library, and they smile at you. And that's something. That's something when you're an international student. They embrace you. The warmth, the hospitality is something that is worthy of commendation. So that's a typical day and week for an international student. You're welcome. So, no other questions? Okay. So, in the absence of any other question, we look forward to seeing you guys here at the University of Lethbridge, and it's an environment that will allow you to let your light shine. So, all the best. See you guys soon. Thank you.